We're going to start in butterfly pose. So bring the bottoms of your feet together. And I think you are muted, so you're good. And you want to have your heels 2 hands length away from your groin. And just a nice wake up move is to grab onto your shins and reach your chest up, look up, maybe make some sounds, whoopee, whatever your sounds are this morning. And then with your exhale, roll down and release. Let your bow of your head drop to your feet. Let your elbows be heavy. Let your knees be heavy. Let your jaw relax. And just take a couple moments to settle into this first butterfly posture. It really honors the pattern of life to start with yin. Whether it is a fetus in a belly or a seed in the earth. This quiet, dark beginnings allow for a direction in how we grow. So while you stay in this posture, just take a couple breaths and notice. Maybe you remember your dreams from the night or your daydreams from the day. You might not remember the content of your dreams, but you might remember a feeling. Notice your thinking this morning or this afternoon. Whether it's been a short time or a long day already. You kind of zoom out and observe how you've been thinking, not the delicious details. Notice how your heart is, how your mood is, your attitude. And notice the sensations in your body. You might be able to kind of notice the flow of energy. Or you may first notice places you're sore or tight. But investigate a little bit more. Maybe notice places you feel strong or open. And then with your inhale, you're going to lift up your head, roll up your chest, and then you're going to just stretch your left leg straight back. And we're going to go into half pigeon, or in yin. You're so excited. In yin, it's called half swan. So very, and if your right buttocks is way off the ground, you can put a bolster or blanket, books underneath your right buttocks. Or another way to do it is to let your swan meet your deer pose and bend your back knee. And then start to walk your hands forward, laying your chest down, stretching your arms up. If your left leg is fully extended, really feel that your toes are stretching as well. If your left knee's bent, your foot just falls very naturally. So make the adjustments, wiggle around a little. This is, for some of us, first thing in the morning. And of course, for Layla, no problem. But wherever we are at, whether we've had a whole day or just a fresh start, what we feel is where we're tight. So even in a dancer's body or someone who's super flexible, the edge that they find has a similar sensation around it. So we're going to start with a Ute prayer this morning. Earth, teach me freedom as the eagle soars in the sky. Earth, teach me regeneration as the seed which rises each spring. Earth, teach me to forget myself as melted snow forgets its life. Earth, teach me to remember kindness as dry fields weep with rain. Earth, teach me freedom as the eagle soars in the sky. Earth, teach me regeneration as the seed which rises each spring. Earth, teach me to forget myself as melted snow forgets its life. Earth, teach me to remember kindness as dry fields weep with rain. So if we think of that seed that is planted or the fetus in the belly, the mystery about beginnings is obscured in the darkness, in the yin nature of what is buried and secret. Even as adults, our growth still comes from the inside and moves to the outside. Just like a bark swells and extends and stretches out with age. Or a fruit grows from a small little pump into a luscious fat fruit. All living things grow this way. No living things or no physical things grow really from the outside to the inside. Now, there probably is a bacteria that does that because bacteria are amazing. And there's a bacteria that does everything. But we have this, there is this repetition of ideas that echoes through our physical body the same way it echoes through the earth, through the plants, through the animals. There is this connectivity, reflection of each other, and really this holographic echo. It's very much like Bach's repeated themes. we'll notice that in that very kind of center of our being, we also have this source of our intuition or guidance, or as William Stafford says, a shadowy, whispery voice that speaks to you. And in real intuition, often what we receive isn't just intuition about how we should be, but it's actually often about how we can help other people. Whether it's remembering to randomly bring extra yoga pants to class and someone inevitably shows up and needs them. Or it's inviting someone when they need to have some company. Or finding insight into something somebody else is struggling with. Now with your inhale, slide and pull your hands underneath your shoulders, tuck your back toes under. And as a transition, we're gonna reach into downward facing dog. And movement will make you feel better, I promise. But we are gonna do the other side. So wiggle around, stretch into downward facing dog. You might even have a little, you know how a dog gets up from a nap and shakes its whole body? This idea with the shaking of the body is it resets the nervous system. And yes, my lovely, my darlings, you are the dog in this scenario. Yes. Okay. And then you're going to bring your left knee forward, stretching your right leg out, or if you did it backwards last time, whatever leg you didn't have in front. Either bringing support underneath your left buttocks or letting your swan mate with your deer pose. Stretch your right leg out. I know, swans, deers, it's an awkward situation. And then walk your arms forward, letting your heart drop down towards the earth. And you want to feel if you're moving away from the stretch or if you're kind of softening into it. So in this prayer, there's a line in here that's it's not very typical of our new age parlance, our new age speak. And this is this line about earth, teach me to forget myself as melted snow forgets its life. Even in our practice of self-realization in our yoga, and this continuation of discovering new elements of yourself more and more as you grow older, there is kind of this balancing practice that goes together with self-discovery. And I mean, it doesn't have a slick name, the same like self-realization, but it's where we actually practice forgetting ourselves. Now, Caroline Myss, she teaches in a way that she really urges people to forget how special they are. And that there's nothing wrong or unambitious about living an ordinary life. One of the first meditations I was taught from a man who was at the time the head of the youth section of the Anthroposophical Society, Hans Zimmermann. It's a simple meditation. I'm so glad it was my first one because it's one that I've returned to again and again. And I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, what? And the meditation is this simple. It's just the mantra of dying unto self allows awakening in others. But there is this truth that is revealed, that when we learn to recognize our patterns and with practice know ourselves well, have a practice of reflection, when we encounter another person, we actually, because we know ourselves, can quiet that part of ourselves down so that we can fully listen to what someone else has to share. This sentence, this dying unto self to allow awakening in others, it's not a sentence that you listen to once, but as you play and you work with it and you contemplate on it, you find that you can find different perspectives that illuminate the nature of this little ego and this higher ego. This division in me, this part of me that is so oriented towards me, mine. And this higher part of me that is kind of like the super adult version of that, which is understanding that actually the true me is the whole earth, is all of humanity. Where I am most alive is in my relationships, in my activities, what I leave behind me. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders. And again, find your way just to downward facing dog to work out the kinks and the pins and needles, perhaps, or the feelings. You can make noises, especially if you're alone at home. You can grunt, you can cry, you can yell, you can yodel. And then this morning, I feel like we're going to do a Sphinx pose before we start the fire. So however you want to come into Sphinx, bring yourself to Sphinx. And on some days it can be a lying Sphinx. I've never seen a statue of that yet. It can be a gentle Sphinx, or it can be a Seelie Sphinx. Not a Seelie that changes in her skin, but a seal coupled together with the Sphinx. It's a little bit like our deer and swan mating. Awkward, but you know what I mean, which is kind of cool. Language. Feel free to do some neck rolls or to drop your chin for a while, stretching the back of your neck. Felicia. This this paradox of a path where we are busy getting to know ourselves in a way just so we can kind of get over ourselves is often, that second step is often forgotten. So a lot of new age trends are to really delve into self-healing and really delve into your own trauma and to really delve into your own blah, 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 blah. And we're missing the other half in that work. It's very, very similar. We have in, so many parts of our world right now, we have this incredible lopsidedness. So for instance, in our education, we have this very honed tradition of patriarchy, and not just the dominance of men, but it's more even insidious, this dominance of the male archetype being the normal and the male archetype being what the goal is. And we still have yet in 2021 to really understand that how far we are from equality, even between men and women, let alone in the world. And part of that blindness is that we haven't been able to even recognize the worth of what was deemed women's work, or what is the invisible or the mysterious or the hidden, or the things that need to happen backstage for the performance to be spectacular. And this habituated kind of quieting of the archetypal feminine I think has really led us into part of where we have this incredible crisis in our world. And it's really easy to like list the crises, as if the list, thank you, as if the list makes it somehow more extraordinary. But I think it's just really one crisis, because there is this interrelationship between all beings on the earth, between you and me and all the people you know and all the people they know, and then we're all around the world, right? But there is this, you can't fix the environment, that thing over there, without fixing our culture or our relationships or our health. They're not actually separate things. And the idea of them being separate is part of what has been so destructive, toxic, violent in this world. So if you want, you can extend your arms for the last couple of breaths in this pose, about 45 seconds. Coming into seal, I also like that version, Sita, that's very nice. And kind of appropriate, you know, to like back off instead of go deeper. So this holism that we can recognize in ourselves, where it's our self-discovery, self-realization, and this discipline and kind of focused practice that we will bring ourselves to, that it goes together with this forgetting ourselves, or allowing ourselves to be quiet and to honor the other. Forgetting ourselves, it's not quite the right mood. I don't know quite, our language is so awkward. Our language is even dominated by all the cool things that the archetype of patriarchy likes. But truly to come through the self-knowledge, to understand that our self isn't divided from how the fields are doing, from how our neighbors are doing, from how the world is doing, even the cosmos. And then lower yourself down to the ground, wiggle a little bit, moan a little bit, shake your legs, feel it work out, the sensations move through you when you add movement to your body. There's a Cree prophecy, another Native American Indian tribe, that talks about when the earth is sick and dying, there will come a tribe of people from all races who will put their faith in deeds, not words, and make the planet green again. Now bring your hands underneath your shoulders, push your hips back to your heels. Come into child's pose. Now to just link how undivided we are. Rudolf Steiner also talks about this race of people, that there are people who have already started incarnating now, and you might know some of them, who have no ties to nationality, who do not feel connected to one land or place, but feel absolutely connected to the earth wherever they are. And with your inhale, roll up, lift your chest up, and we're going to stay seated on our heels here. Bring our hands to heart center. With your thumbs connected to your breastbone, lift up tall with your spine and close your eyes. And even though we're going to be moving our body and it's our effort and our sweat and suffering, still as a moving prayer, dedicate your class to someone else who could need a little love or a little light. Empty your breath and let's together take a full inhale. And then with your inhale, or your exhale, release your hands down. And then inhale, stretch your right arm up to the sky, like you have an important question. And then with your exhale, slide your left hand a little bit away from you and reach and stretch your whole right side body. Let's stay here for a whole breath cycle. And then with your next inhale, lift up tall, and exhale, relax your right arm down. Inhale, stretch up your left arm. And with your exhale, slide your right hand out to the right, feeling the stretch of your side body. Feeling your left hip heavy, your right elbow can be bending. And then with your inhale, stretch up both hands, interlace your fingers, turn your palms inside out, and enjoy just a little back bend here. And then with your exhale, plant your hands down, tuck your toes under, and just hover your knees over the yoga mat. Notice as immediately when you hover your knees, you start turning on the fire. Now inhale, just kidding. Inhale, nothing. Exhale, reach your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Then straightening your legs. And then with your next inhale, roll over the top to plank. Bend your knees low and then push back with your hips. And once your hips can't go any further back, then straighten your legs to downward facing dog. Inhale, come over the top. Exhale, bend your knees deeply. Reach back. Una más, one more time. Roll over the top. Keep your knees low, kind of like in a moving bear pose, and then come to downward facing dog. Beautiful. Then raise your right leg straight up to the sky. Roll your ankle, wiggle your toes, bend and straighten your knee a couple of times, and then bend your knee and let your hips spin open. And walk your hands a little closer to your foot. even closer. Boo. And then see if maybe you can start to come up onto your left fingertips. So you're tenting it. Maybe hover your left hand or reach your arm back in airplane, or hold onto your foot, or just slap your foot. Or it could just be think about your foot. Yeah, I know. Oh, there it is. And then return your left hand to the ground, lined up with your right hand. And then walk your hands back forward to downward facing dog and relax your right leg down. And then inhale, stretch your left leg. Wiggle your toes, your foot fingers. Roll your ankle around. Allow movement to come into it, and then bend your knee and let your hips spin open. So challenging yourself. So you're going to twist your hip open, but your shoulder blades are still, your shoulder girdle is still squared to the yoga mat. And then slide your hands closer to your right foot. This gives you actually a little bit more stability, believe it or not. And then tense your right fingers. You can also be close to a wall and use a wall. And maybe take your arm to airplane, or actually hold a moment, hold onto your foot, just slap your foot, or just think about your foot. And remember, every day your balance is different. All right, return your hands down, walk your hands down to downward facing dog, drop your left foot down. Inhale, feel your heels lift up. Exhale, feel your knees bend. And then keeping your breath out, hop your feet in between your hands. And inhale, let your arms fly up, halfway lift. So your legs can be straight. You're moving your chest forward. And then with your exhale, bend your knees and grab the back of your knees, hugging your knees. You're so awesome. And then reach down with your heels and reach up to the sky, stretching your body long. And with your exhale, you're going to drop your right arm. Inhale, lift up even taller. And with your next exhale, it's like a half moon. Then inhale up to center, both arms stretch up. Exhale, drop your left arm. Inhale, lift up tall. And then with your next exhale, arch to the left-hand side. Inhale, stretch up both arms to center. Hook your thumbs and take a little back bend with your exhale. Then inhale, reach up tall. And with your exhale, fold down. Inhale, halfway lift. Move your chest forward. And then step back to plank. So here in plank, we're going to take a couple breaths. So fill up in between your shoulder blades. If you imagine my hand between your shoulder blades, you want to reach your back up. Beautiful. And then test your balance. So get really strong in your posture, and then see if you can kind of do like a version of Magdalena. So you're going to bring your left hand to your right shoulder, and then your right hand to your left shoulder. And then do that a couple more times and see how still you can be in the rest of your body. So you want to barely be shifting your weight from side to side. I don't know, how straight can you be? That's really not what I needed to know. How still you can be. Yes. All right. And then take a full inhale, exhale, lower all the way down to the ground. Stretch your feet out. Start by pushing your toenails into the ground. Lift your knees up and inhale, low cobra. Exhale, release down to the yoga mat. Now inhale, we're going to lift up into full cobra. So that means you're going to extend your arms, but your kneecaps are active and lifting. Beautiful. Let your shoulder blades come back behind you. Your legs are active. And then exhale, release down. Yeah, it's kind of like that, Layla. You got it. Now inhale, upward facing dog. So you're going to float your cobra. So really feel that your legs have to be powerful. Your chest is reaching in front of your arms, letting your hips drop. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Put a small bend in your knees to let your hips roll up towards the sky. Take another full fueling inhale. Empty your breath all the way and quietly hop your feet in between your hands. Inhale, glide your chest forward, flying your halfway lift. Exhale, hug the back of your knees. And then bend your knees and we're going to lift up. Utkatasana. Now, find your weight in your heels, shift your knees back, reach your buttocks back, and feel your chest lifting up. With your exhale, you're going to fly your wings behind you. Feel that your belly is still really active here. You still have the weight in your heels. And then inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. I like to keep my hands on the ground for this one. And then exhale, chaturanga, or the ground. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Let your shoulder blades reach behind you. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. And with your exhale, bring your knee to your right shoulder. It's hard. Inhale, stretch your leg long. Exhale, bring your knee to your nose and then deliver your right foot right next to your right thumb. And back heels lifted, reach up, crescent lunge. And then with your exhale, we're going to do that same thing. We're going to come into this hinge. So your arms are flying behind you like wings. Allow your breath to hold you. Feel your belly lifting away from your thigh. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky. Now with your exhale, you're going to try and tap your own shoulder. That'd be cool. Yeah, there you go. And then inhale, stretch your left leg long. And with your exhale, step your foot to your left thumb and rise up. So we rise up into crescent lunge. And then we're going to hinge forward and reach your arms back. So you could nearly see this as a supported airplane pose. You're getting strong in your abdominals here. You're really leaning forward. I'm totally forgetting the name of this variation. Flying warrior. It's not quite flying. It's like dancing warrior. Anyways, inhale, stretch your arms up. We'll see if it comes. Exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Reach from your toes to your chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. So you may find on some days where I go fast, you actually wanted to go slow. And on some days where you wanted to go slow, I'm going fast. And there's actually a way to kind of temper that. So if you want more movement in your downward facing dog, find a little shake, find a little activity, or find, if you want less movement, find child's pose, or just even sometimes your vinyasa. This flow of getting from one point to the other might just be simply going to downward facing dog instead of the repetitions of chaturanga and up dog. Take another fueling inhale. Empty your breath all the way and let's meet at the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, let your arms fly out. Exhale, release and hug the back of your knees. Then inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, fly your arms back. Find the weight in your heels. And then we are going to start to lift our right foot and step our right foot all the way back. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. And then exhale, fly forward. Bring your hands to prayer and start to let your body hinge down. So you're coming into Ekapada Uttanasana. Let your head drop maybe one hand at a time to your ankle. And then bring your right foot next to your left foot. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, fly your wings back. And then start to shift your weight. Bring your weight into your right foot. Step back. Inhale, lift up, Anjaneyasana. And then exhale, fly forward. Airplane. Woo! Try to square and drop your left hip. And then bring your hands to heart centered and bow forward. Ekapada Uttanasana. Bringing your hands one at a time to your ankle. Remember to step on the ceiling with your left foot. And then with your exhale, bring your left foot next to your right foot. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. And with your exhale, go across and tap your left elbow. Inhale, stretch your right leg. Exhale, bring your right knee to your right elbow. Inhale, stretch your right leg. And with your exhale, step your right foot right in between your thumbs. And you're going to windmill up into reverse warrior. With your exhale, hinge into triangle pose. And inhale, either stay here or extend your triangle, reaching your left arm over your ear. And then with your inhale, you're going to lift up into star. You pivot your right foot in. Yep, it's like the Leonardo pose, you could say. And with your exhale, bow forward, prasarita. Let your head drop. So if your head's bumping on the ground, walk your feet a little bit closer together, but let your head hang. And then staying low, you're going to walk your hands either side of your right foot and point your right foot to the front of the room. So you should have your arms inside the right foot, your shoulders on the inside of your right knee. Now, you might either go straight to Chaturanga from here, or you might try the arm balance. So what you do is you bend your elbows, you move your weight forward, and you just stretch out both of your legs. Lift your left leg high and exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. So a try is always a good beginning. Sometimes it just takes it in our imagination. Are you okay? Okay, now we're gonna do the left side. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky. With your exhale, tap your right elbow. Inhale, stretch your left leg. Exhale, bring your left knee to your left elbow. Inhale, stretch your leg one more time, and exhale, step your foot in between your thumbs and rise up, reverse warrior. And then with your exhale, you're going to come into Trikonasana. Now, either leave your arms as they are in Trikonasana or reach your top arm to the front of the room for Utthita Trikonasana, extended triangle pose. And then inhale, lift up into star. So your left toes turn in, you stretch your arms out. It's a little bit like I'm a hero pose. Yes, a shiro. And with your exhale, bow forward. Now, if you want, you can take your hands behind you, stretching your hands so you go underneath your legs, your palms are on the ground. That's also a nice variation. You can also do it with your hands coming over your head, but I was thinking of reaching your hands back here. And then walk your hands back underneath your chin, and then let your right heel lift and your left toes point straight forward, and walk your hands to the inside of your left foot. So your left shoulder is inside your left knee. Well, kind of, and then you're going to bend your elbows. So eventually you don't need your right elbow to touch anything, but as you're learning, you can pull your right elbow in underneath your hip. And so it really becomes like, it's like your training wheel. And then you bring your weight to your fingertips and then exhale, chaturanga. Very nice. Exhale, chaturanga. Yeah. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And then inhale, move forward to plank. And then very slowly, see if you can be the last one to touch down. Well done. Or the first one, because they did say the first shall be last, the last shall be first. Okay, those people. Just take a moment here. You're going to be okay. And then cactus your arms. Squeeze your legs together, imagining you have a zipper from your coccyx bone to your heels. First, keeping your legs down. Inhale, lift up your chest, lift up your head, and pull your shoulders back. Pull your elbows back. Reach your fingers out. Maybe a hint of a smile. I think it makes your face lighter. Yes, beautiful. And then lower yourself down to the yoga mat. Have you guys jumped out of a plane? Isn't that kind of how you do it? Yeah. All right, this time you're going to stretch your arms out like wings. Take them a little bit lower than your shoulders. So it's like between 45 and 57 degrees-ish. And then squeeze your legs. Inhale, first lift up your chest, lift up your arms, and then maybe lift up your legs too. Reach with your toes, try to get longer, feel like you're soaring through the air. You're the super being. And then gently release down to the ground. Can't be like He-Man or Superman or She-Ra. We're ready for a hermaphrodite superhero, I think. Or would that be a queero? Anywho. Now, with this next variation, we're going to stretch our arms in front of us. And you can make fists, like a loose fist, so it really does look like you're pretending to be Superman. Or you can have your hands just stretching out. But with your inhale, start to lift up your upper body. Beautiful, like you have a steering wheel. I like that. And then lift up your legs. And so you start to feel the difference about where you put your arms and how hard this posture is. This is really hard. And then with your exhale, release down. Or maybe it wasn't for you, Sabine. You looked very natural and comfortable there, which is great. So like we're super special and we're totally ordinary. We're unique like a snowflake, and we belong as one to this whole cosmos. Now, take your hands underneath your shoulders, push your hips back to your heels, roll over your crossed ankles and come onto your back. We're gonna end class with a twisted root twist. So lying on your back, you're gonna bend your knees and braid your right knee over your left knee. That might be as much twist as you need. Or if you want a little bit more, you can actually thread your right toes behind your left calf. Now just slide your butt to the right and let your knees drop to the left. I mean, if there's a huge dog in your way, you know, you're boss. Move your butt towards the dog and then drop your knees away from them. Yeah. Take a full breath in And with your exhale, sigh out. So one of these elements of starting to get or getting to know yourself and really allowing this practice of self-knowledge to be so you can recognize what is you and then pay attention to the other. So early in my life compared to now, I was like 20, I think 25, something like that. I had my astrological chart done by this wise man. And he showed me that there's something in my charts, actually where my Lilith node is, I believe, that makes me feel that I'm always left out of groups. Now hug your knees back to center. Unwind your knees. And braid your left knee over your right knee. Maybe your toes peek around the calf. Maybe they don't. Slide your butt cheeks to the left and then drop your knees to the right, keeping your knees as high as your hips. And when he told me this, I recognized it in so many different themes in my life. And I have in the past 21 years. I think I was 25 when I saw him. I have noticed that that is my go-to spot, that I always feel left out. And then most of the time, like I feel left out and I don't really want to be included. But other times I'll feel that way and I can actually, because I know this about myself, that this is one of my habits because of the map, this star map that I've been given. When I recognize that, I can actually reassess in a way that doesn't, it's not about just feeling bad or feeling left out and getting like stuck in that bad feeling. But because I know this is my habit, I can see if it's true and then I can act against my habit, so to say, and to make sure that I am included in a group I want to be included in. In some ways, these kind of learnings about yourself allow you to take your problems less personally. Which brings us to being able to be here in service. Instead of it just being a continuation of the me dance. So take a full breath in and with your exhale, just sigh it out. And then unwind and stretch your gorgeous body out into Shavasana. Slightly different class today, different mood. Allow your body to come still onto the ground. Feeling the solidness of the floor underneath you help you be soft. With your next inhale, invite your breath to the edges of your body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes and your face and your nose. Maybe stretch your arms up over your head. Your inhale, get long, and with your exhale, curl into a ball and roll onto your side. Hugging your knees to your chest and just noticing your vitality, your inner sparkle. And then help yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Allow yourself to come with your hands together, your eyes closed, ready for one closing Om. Now maybe lift up the image of the person you dedicated your class to. See them smiling, joy-filled. And empty your breath, and let's take a big inhale. Ah. Bring your prayer hands to your third eye. Invite the divine light. And as we bow forward together, we say, Namaste. And so much love. And then make some noise. Yeah. Yeah. And you did it. Wonderful. Thank you for being here.